Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to talk about the notion of networking. I think networking is important. You want to make connections, but I feel like too many people overemphasize the idea that it's all about who you know. This to me is a limiting belief, as they call it. And what a limiting belief, as the name implies, it's a notion that prevents you from going further because you think that's fact. Sure, yeah, I've seen a lot of people get unjustly promoted because of who they knew, but it's not always the rule. And eventually, it is my belief, and I've seen it happen, where they fall flat on their face and essentially the clock does strike midnight for them. Whereas, again, I'm not saying networking is bad. I'm saying people overvalue it. And instead, I am of the belief that put your efforts into your talent, studying the craft, and the various projects that you work on, because that'll attract people to you, right? Because they'll see something and they'll see you continuing to work and work and work. And they're like, holy shit, this motherfucker is amazing. I need that person on my team. And it's that Field of Dreams quote, like, build it and they will come. That I believe in that. My friend Khalil, who's done various projects, I'm seeing the culmination of his work now, and people are really attracted to him and want to work with him because of his creativity. Certainly, that's why I love working with him. But I was there, since the beginning, back when, he was just starting out, because and so forth, right? All of a sudden, people like to join the bandwagon once they see the results, right? And so you have to kind of essentially produce those results for them so that way they can see. And that to me is a much better form of networking than, and what I mean by networking, just for full clarity, is I know people who go to every Hollywood party and so forth, schmooze and so forth, and that's essentially their full-time job. But it's like, what are you doing with that? You can have all the connections in the world, but the point of networking is to do a job. The point of networking is to showcase your talent. And I feel like, a lot of those people that put such an emphasis on networking, they really just are looking for the validation. They want to be put up on a pedestal more so than that they actually enjoy the work. And so I would caution you against that, because it's a short-lived road. I think ultimately, certainly in my experience, if you put your best foot forward, you put your nose to the grindstone and you just keep churning out work after work after work, A, you'll improve, but B, people will take notice. So that's my recommendation to you. You might completely disagree, but hey, it's served me well in the past. And the other thing is too, that also add on to this, I was having a fun chat with one of my friends this weekend. He was saying, how the business has changed and so forth. And he was essentially talking to me about my movie of what are you going to do with this movie? And I was like, well, there's various options. And I listed him all the various options that were going through my mind. He's like, and he wasn't doing it to be mean, but he said, okay, and then what? What if that doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? Because he was essentially trying to prepare me for a worst case scenario. And here's the cool part, worst case scenario, I put out the movie on my own, and there's a way to do it. And whether or not it sells, that's up to audiences, but at least I'll be done with it. I'm of the Picasso mindset of give me a paintbrush and I'll paint. If I don't have a paintbrush, then I'll use a pencil. If I don't have a pencil, I'll prick my finger and I'll paint with blood, right? So that's kind of the mindset I'm in. And I was trying to explain this to him. So, my intent was not to sell the movie. My intent was to make the movie. And if it sells, that's an added bonus ultimately. So, as far as and kind of the greater point of it all is, in today's day and age, the barrier to entry is so low. You don't need any gatekeeper in the world anymore to gain an audience. That's the beautiful part about it. So, especially in today's day and age, why overemphasize networking? It's all about who you know. No, it's all about the value you bring to other people and the content that you make that sparks joy in other people's lives. So focus on that. Let that be your guiding light. and make some cool shit and people will enjoy it. I promise you. Maybe not you know, in a couple of months, maybe not in a couple, it's going to take time to really build this, but it does happen, it does come. So I leave you on that note. Thank you for joining me. If you agree with me, give it a thumbs up, hit like, whatever the case may be. If you disagree, by all means, let me know in the comments section, but also please tell me why. Give some examples. I'd love to kind of converse with you. I always love learning, and you know, the more you share, the more I learn as well. So that's the cool part about it. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. That way you get all these various lessons and episodes that I put out right when they come out. But I've taken up enough of your time. I truly appreciate you, and I hope to see you next time.